Lesson 8.5, 7th graders, this is about scatter plots and what are called correlations. Okay? Correlations are how the dots go when you're plotting numbers on a graph. Do they show a trend? In other words, if the dots go up as they go to the right, that's a positive correlation. Meaning that as the numbers go to the right, the numbers go up. Okay? And if they go to the right as the numbers go down, or the dots go down, that's called a negative correlation. And if the dots are just all over the place and there's no real distinguishable pattern, then it's no correlation. There's no correlation between the numbers on the x-axis versus the numbers on the y-axis. Okay? So let's go through this together. On this, on your worksheet, they list some players, some former tennis players: Andre Agassi, Jimmy Connors, Chris Everett, Steffi Graf, John McEnroe, Martina Navratilova, Pete Sampras, Monica Seles. All of those. Then it shows the number of wins that they had at Wimbledon tennis tournament, French Open tennis tournament, and Australian Open tennis tournament. Okay. And the US Open tennis tournament. Yep. And so, as you plot these numbers, if you were to plot the Wimbledon wins versus the US Open wins, the first person, Agassi, had one US Open win and one Wimbledon win. So that's the first dot that's shown. Okay? And Connors had 5 US Open wins and 2 Wimbledon wins, and so on. So looking for a correlation between the number of wins for one versus the other. Does that make sense? The numbers in the US Open are on the x-axis, and the number of Wimbledon wins are on the y-axis. Okay? Let's try doing the one at the bottom. We're going to track US Open wins versus French Open wins in this one. Okay? So let's do this together. How many, let's go down, US Open wins versus French Open wins up here. Whoops. There we go. So US Open wins, French Open wins. And we're going to put, these are the X numbers and these are the Y numbers then. Okay? So, in the first column, US Open versus French Open, 1 and 0 is the first point that you can mark. 1, 0. Okay? And then 5, 0. Oops, I'm sorry, that was 7, 0. 5 zeros there. 6, 7. So go over 6 and up 7. And mark that point. And 5, 5. And mark that point. And 4, 0. Mark that point. And 4, 2. And mark that point. 4, 0 again. And 2, 3. Okay? Now, draw a line around the dots. Draw a line kind of around the dots. This one does not exist.
So like around the round.
Yep. Okay. Does there seem to be a trend?
No.
Do they go up as they go to the right?
Yeah. Some.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Okay. So you could say that it's a positive trend or a positive correlation. Okay.
Wait. What is this like? Some mark on this side because someone, some U.S. Oh, I marked the wrong spot in mine. Shock.
Let's look at the next one. Australian Open wins. So now we're going to compare this one on the Y to Wimbledon on the X. Okay? All right, let's go on.
Yeah.
Wimbledon is on the X, so 1, 1 is one of the points. And then 2, 1. And 3, 2. And then 7, 4. And then 3, 0. 9, 3. 4, 2. And 0, 4.
Touching my ear.
Asa. So again, these points kind of go up as they go to the right, okay? You can see kind of a trend, okay? The trend, look at how the dots go up as they go to the right, okay? Now, if you compare that, Asa, to Q. Oh, raise your hand, that's the third time today, okay? Now, if the dots were more like this, and they kind of go down,
You forgot 0.
now I'm putting up random dots in blue.
You forgot that one.
Listen, I'm not using any specific numbers now. I'm showing you something else.
No, I know, but you forgot. They're blurting. You forgot Monica's. They're blurting it.
Oh, black. So, if the dots were to start up here and then go in a random, sort of random pattern going down, that would be called a negative correlation. Okay? And then, if we included all of these dots, if there were dots all over the place, and we looked at all of the dots, ignoring the colors, then that would be just no correlation. The dots do not have a pattern going anywhere. Okay? That's the point of a scattered plot and what those terms mean. Positive correlation, negative correlation, or no correlation. Okay? Any questions on those concepts? You're going to do the same thing on practice 8.5. Plot the points that are listed, and then look for a pattern, whether it's positive, negative, or zero correlation. Okay? Then, in lesson 8.6, I'll take your questions at the end. Okay? In lesson 8.6, when you plot these points, it says to draw a trend line. Okay? A trend line is a line that goes through sort of the center of the dots. And that line is a line that you're going to use to find the slope. So, look at this example. The driver of a car slows to a stop after 3 seconds. The car is traveling 41 miles per hour. After 5 seconds, it's traveling 30 miles per hour. After 8 seconds, it's traveling 12 miles per hour. Make a scatter plot of the data and draw a trend line. So look at these dots. Plot plot the points at 3:41. So after 3 seconds, it's going 41 miles per hour. 3:41, that's this dot. And then at 5:30 is this dot. And then at 8:12 is this dot. And then, that's it. Then, not all of those dots line up on a perfect line. So a trend line is instead a line that goes through the center of the dots, that goes through kind of the middle of them, using those points that are given. It's not an exact line, but it's called a trend line. Okay? And then based on that line, you could find the slope. How would you find the slope if you're just given a line? You can count, right? You can count. Let's count from this point to this point. The top point to the bottom point. It goes down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, what are these intervals in? They're in 5s, right? So that'd be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. That'd be negative 30 over. These are in 1s. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So the rise is negative 30. The run is 5. What is the slope then? What is that simplified?
Negative 6 over 1.
Yep, negative 6 over 1. That's the slope of the trend line. Okay? So that's the concept on this, on 8.6, is to draw a trend line and then find the slope. Okay? Answer those questions on 8.6.